friends. How's it going? My name is Miss Eng. I'm from the Shayla North Hills Library. I am one of the children's librarians here, and tonight I have a story that I alluded to last evening that was really awesome. But it has a lot of words in it that are not from a language of which I am in which I am fluent. And so I have the little post-it notes on the book, but I know I'm gonna mess it up. And it's in the language of Ghana. So please, I do apologize for that. But I think you're really gonna love this book. It's called Nana Akua Goes to School, and it's by Trisha Elam Walker, and it's illustrated by April Harrison. Now here's the deal. You remember that book, What is Given from the Heart, by Patricia C. McKissick? She illustrated that book. And remember how beautiful that book was? Dude, beautiful. And these pictures are beautiful as well. So I'm going to read the book and stumble through the words, even though what's really cool is there's different um, there's different pronunciations for the words. They're in here of the words of the Adinkra symbols, which is a group of symbols originating hundreds of years ago in the Côte d'Ivoire that tell stories and teach lessons. The symbols appear on poetry, jewelry, and other decorative items, including fabrics initially worn only by African leaders, but now worn by many people, both in African countries and in other places in the world. Adinkra also means goodbye in Twi, a Ghanaian language spoken by the Ashanti tribe. So we're going to learn some about these symbols. But really, we're going to learn about a young girl and her grandma. Check it out. It's circle time, Zura's favorite time of day. She scoots to a spot next to Theodore and crisscrosses her legs on the rainbow-shaped rug. Ready, set, Mr. Dawson says, looking at the children over his glasses. You bet, they respond, and quiet right down. Next Monday is an important day, Mr. Dawson continues. Each of you will bring your grandparents to school so that they can share what makes them special. Yay, it's Grandparents' Day, shouts Alejo without raising his hand. My abuelo is the best fisherman in the world, and he can explain how to catch the biggest fish. Bishu thrusts both hands up and says, My Mimi is the best dentist in the world. She can bring everyone a toothbrush. All the children chime in, using their voices, leaping over each other to tell what's best about their grandparents. Inside voices, please, says Mr. Dawson. What do yours do? Theodore whispers to Zura, but Zura just shrugs. When Zura's puppy brings her home from school, Nana Akua, her favorite person in the whole universe, is peeling potatoes for dinner. Although Nana's feet don't even reach the floor, she seems as tall as a giant playground slide. Maybe that's because she's filled to the brim with stories about growing up in West Africa, where people carve statues out of wood, trees drip with mangoes, and canyon-colored outdoor markets sell everything you can imagine. Nana puts down the peeler and gives Zura one of her big hugs, the kind that wrap around her like a sweater. Grandparents' Day is next week, she says. Maybe you can help me decide what to talk about. Zura stares down at the floor. Zura's mama also knows about Grandparents' Day. Her smile is as bright as a sunbeam. How about if Papi plays the djembe drums while Nana tells stories to your classmates, she suggests, coming over to help Nana. Zura frowns and thinks about the last time she and Nana went to the park. Nana pushed her high to the sky on the swings, and Zura was almost flying. But on their way home, the little boy pointed at Nana, and Zura heard him say to his mother, "That lady looks scary." And the very next day, a server in the little tea house stared so hard at Nana, she forgot to bring them sugar cookies with their tea. This is because Nana Akua looks different. When she was young, her parents followed an old African tradition. They put marks on her face to show which tribal family she belongs to and to represent beauty and confidence. Those marks never wash off and never go away. Zura looks at her Nana, holding back tears that wait in the corner of her eyes. Nana Akua puts down her potato, takes Zura's hand and says, "My precious girl, why such a sad face?" It feels hard to explain, but Zura wants to try. She swallows and takes a deep breath. "What if someone at school laughs at you or acts mean?" she says quietly. Nana Akura thinks for a moment. "I have an idea," she says, and puts Zura's arm through hers. Together they walk down the hall to Zura's room. Nana points to the bed. "How about we bring your favorite quilt to class?" These quilt patterns come from another long ago tradition. Even though they're not exactly the same as the marks on my face, they can help explain them. What do you think? Zura traces some of the designs she loves with her fingers. When Nana Akura first made the quilt for Zura, she explained that the patterns were Adinkra symbols of the Akan people of Ghana. These symbols represent more than 50 important qualities, like wisdom and creativity. Zura wishes the marks were only on the quilt and not on Nana Akua's face. Still, she says, "Okay, we can bring it." On Grandparents' Day, Zura wears one of her African dresses sewn by Nana, and Nana Akua looks especially regal in her bright patterned dress with matching skirt. In her bright patterned, it's called a kaba, with matching skirt and head wrap. There are lots of oohs and ahs when they arrive. The classroom is decorated with a rainbow of balloons that float up to the ceiling. There are large welcome signs with colored markers, like made with colored markers. A tall chair is on the rug for the grandparents to sit in when they speak. First, Alejo's abuelo, who passes around photos. First is Alejo's abuelo, who passes around photos of the biggest bluefish he ever caught. Next, Bisu's Mimi shows the class a video called Mr. Cavity and the Magic Toothbrush. And then Lester's grandparents, who owned a barber shop for many years, hold up matching clippers. "Anybody need a haircut?" they ask, laughing. Finally, it's Nana Akua's turn. She sits in the special grandparent chair with Zura next to her. Zura clutches the quilt tightly. Her voice shakes when he gives her introduction. "This is my Nana Akua, and she's from Ghana, a country in West Africa." Nana Akua squeezes Zura's shoulder and starts talking. "Hello, children. I'm sure you've noticed the marks on my face. Has anyone seen anything like them before?" "No," all the children say. "These marks were gifts from my parents, who were happy and proud that I was born. I am likewise proud to wear them. Most Ghanaian parents don't celebrate in this way anymore, but it once was an important tradition." Zura watches, her eyes wide as cups, as Nana Akua walks slowly around the circle so everyone can see her face up close. "It's interesting that in this country, I do often notice people who put tattoos on their body that have special meanings." "Yours are way better than tattoos," Theodore says, "because they grew up with you." Nana Akua smiles. "Why, thank you, young man. And I brought some special makeup so that each of you can have a beautiful African symbol on your face too. The kind that wash off. My expert helper will hold up her quilt, which shows some symbols you can choose from." And this is where we talk about the symbols in the back. The other students look at Zura expectantly. She unfolds the quilt with care. Today I'm going to choose the Beseka symbol. It looks like a flower, and my Nana told me it stands for power and unity. Nana Akua paints the symbol onto Zura's cheek in gold, while Zura holds very still. The other children clap when it's all done. Come and choose your favorite symbol, Zura says to them. Alejo, who wants to be a beatboxer, points to the Shweb Madua symbol because he thinks it looks like a keyboard. Nana Akua tells him it means high quality and excellence. Bijou wants to be a veterinarian, and so she points to the Den Chem symbol, which is shaped like a crocodile, one of her favorite animals. It stands for cleverness. Peter and Inez decide on the Aho symbol, which looks like the inside of a sliced apple with two identical halves. Twins like us, Peter says. Nana says the symbol means peace and quiet. Like Mommy and Daddy say we never give them, Inez shouts. Nana Akua paints and paints until every child has their own design. The other grandparents choose symbols for themselves, too. Zura's face glows as she watches Nana Akua fold up her quilt to go home. And this time, it's Zura who gives her very special, not like anyone else's Nana, one of those big hugs, the kind that wrap around you like a sweater. And there they are, hugging each other. And some of these words, and again, like I have the little post-its on there. Oh, and Miss Jill wanted me to let you know that sometimes on some paper, if you put a post-it like over the text, it peels the words off. So don't do that. So I was sure not to do that. But abuelo, that was Alejo's grandfather. That's a Spanish word for grandfather. Adinkra, that's a group of symbols originating hundreds of years ago in the Côte d'Ivoire. Those are the symbols that Nana put on people's skin. They could choose, remember? And this is like a little Adinkra symbols in their meetings. There's Aban, which is two-sided house, means authority and power. Ajo, which means peace and quiet. That's this one. That's the one that looks like the twins picked, you know. There was Sankofa, bird looking backward, which means learn from the past to build to the future. So those are some of those. And then Akua, a female Ghanaian name meaning born on Wednesday. Ashanti, a major ethnic group living in Ghana. Djembe, and that is Baramba, a language spoken in Mali, a word for a West African rope-tuned drum, which played with one's bare hands. That was what, remember Zura's mother was like, do you want Grandpa to bring the djembe and Nana can talk to the kids? Kaba, a traditional Ghanaian woman's top. That was what she had on. Twi word for mother is mame. Mimi is a Hebrew word, the pet form of Miriam, sometimes a nickname for grandmother. And Papa is Twi for father. So I just thought this was a really cool book, written by Trisha Ellen Walker. Nana Akua Goes to School, and illustrated by the amazing April Harrison, who also illustrated What is Given from the Heart. My friends, from my heart to yours, I offer you a kiss on your beautiful brain. Give a kiss to your loving heart, and look in the mirror and say, hey, good looking. Thank you, friends. See you tomorrow. Bye.